computer, and then share screen. Yay, all right. So can everybody see the screen all right? Yes? Yeah, good, okay. So here we are then, Discovering Buddhism, Spiritual Teacher. And so doing the prayers to start off with. So just take a moment to just settle yourself into the moment. I know some of us are just at the end of us busy days. And just take 3 deep breaths to start off with. Breathing in with awareness and breathing out, relaxing the body. And then I invite you to take refuge and to generate bodhicitta, if that feels the right thing for you to do. So we go through the prayer 3 times together. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. Oops, I've left something on answer. I won't be a second. Apologies. Right, I've muted you all. Sorry, start again. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, by my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, by my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, by my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So then the 4 immeasurables. So may all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings be never separated from sorrowless bliss. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, both attachment and aversion. So, and taking with us that refuge and that bodhicitta heart into the practice tonight and into what we're doing. So, give you an idea of what's coming up over the next 6 weeks then. I'm going to be covering various parts of this this path on the need for a spiritual teacher and having a spiritual teacher. Now, everybody will be different. Some of you might already feel that you have one already, some of you not. And it's not about like whether you have or haven't at the moment, if you know what I mean. It's going through the things that you need to consider when you actually do that. And I must admit, I have got a spiritual teacher, but there's things that I've learned just prepping for the course, if you know what I mean. I thought, yeah, I didn't think of that before, you know. So there's something I'm sure that we'll all get out of it. So thinking about that need for a teacher then, the qualities that they have for the teacher, and also what qualities we need to bring to it as a student as well. You know, what things do we need to be doing? It's very much works both ways. How we see the guru as a Buddha. Just thinking of guru has lots of thoughts for us often in the West, doesn't it, that term? So we'll kind of have a think about that as we go along as well. How to devote yourself to a spiritual teacher, the benefits of doing that, also the downside of it if you fail to devote yourself, or indeed if you break devotion to your spiritual teacher after you've got one, and what's some of the things to be aware of with that. And then there's also the 2 different ways that you do it. So devoting yourself through thought, which is how you think of the kindness, for example, of the teacher, and devoting yourself through action, which is like volunteering at a centre, if you know what I mean, or actually asking the guru for advice, that kind of thing. So we're going to cover all of those things over the 6-week course. I've not put down there what we're doing on every single week because it'll be a little bit fluid. Let's see how we go along. All right. So is that the kind of thing that everybody was expecting? Yeah. All right. Cool. So I think the other thing to just mention at this stage is I know for some of you that have been doing Discovering Buddhism just recently, you've been taking like a certification of the course, you know, where you can get your little certificate at the end that says that you've done this module. All right, I'll offer that again for this one. So main thing is make sure that you do the homework. All right, in between. So I'll be clear about what it is that you need to do in order to make sure you get that certificate if you want it. If you don't want a certificate, that's absolutely fine as well. All right. And we'll talk about that in a bit more later on. So I thought we could start off with a meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. This is something that I often do. Oh, we got someone arriving. Just let people come in and then we'll carry on from there. Hello, Hazel. I can see that you're there, but can't quite see a picture. You don't have to put your picture on, by the way. I'm Chrissy. Oh, there we go.
Hi, hello. Hi.
So welcome. We've just made a quick start on things. We've done the morning prayers. So I'm going to say we've done the initial prayers, and we're just going to do a meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. Just to let you know that it is being recorded. So if you didn't want to have your face shown at all, you know, then obviously you can blank out. All right. So this meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha, we often do it on morning prayers, or we do it on morning prayers, and I think it's a lovely way to just start off. And it also actually brings some guru devotion into there. All right, so just take a moment to ground yourself again. If you're seated in a chair, make sure your feet are on the floor or on something that's stable. If you sat cross-legged, then get yourself really so that you're not sort of having to lean back to keep yourself stable, you know. So usually that means getting your knees down low enough to do that. Nice erect spine. And then see yourself surrounded by all sentient beings in the form of humans, infinite in number. In front of you is Shakyamuni Buddha. He's wearing the 3 saffron robes of a monk. And his body is the nature of radiant golden light. And his face is beautiful. So when you bring this image into your mind, as much as what you can, his body is like golden light, and his clothes are about an inch away from his body. So, so not actually touching. And he smiles at you with love and compassion, simultaneously gazing at you and at all of those sentient beings surrounding you. Is a manifestation of the omniscient mind of all of the Buddhas, the ultimate guru, and inseparable from your root guru. So that's obviously assuming that you have one. If you haven't got one, there's Shakyamuni Buddha, don't worry about it. So he welcomes you and invites you to be there with him. And golden light streams from all of his pores into yourself and all those sentient beings surrounding you. And it purifies negative karma and obscurations that have been collected from beginningless rebirths. So keeping with that visualization now, as we say his mantra 3 times together. Tayata Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Soha. Tayata Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Soha. Tayata Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Soha. And then we're just going to set some motivations for tonight. So for the night ahead, and also from that we're going to think about how that'll actually come into the teachings as well that we're doing. So going through these 3 levels of motivation together. Today, as much as possible, I'll harm no living beings with the actions of my body, speech or mind. Today, as much as possible, I'll seek to benefit others in whatever way I can. And today, as much as possible, I'll generate bodhicitta, where all the actions of my body, speech and mind be imbued with this profound motivation. So just thinking for a moment of this next hour and a half, it'll be just less than that, won't it? How can you bring that motivation into the sessions, into the teaching that we're having today? Thinking about the topic of the spiritual teacher. What's your motivation for actually studying this topic? Once you've studied it, you feel that you understand it. What do you want to do with it? How do you want to put it into practice? Okay, thank you. All right, everybody. So we'll all have our own different motivations for studying it, and that's absolutely great. For some of you, it'll be that it's part of doing the whole modules of discovering Buddhism. For some of you, it might be just that it's like just this particular one that's really important to you for some reason. So I'm just curious at the moment as to how are you feeling about studying this particular model and what it brings up for you? So if you want to do, I invite you in the chat box to just put like sort of how you're feeling about studying the spiritual teacher, or any concerns that you've got, or anything you're particularly looking forward to. So just if there's anything that you particularly want to share. I can't see my chat box while I'm sharing the screen. You think it'd be there, wouldn't you? Never mind. I'll tell you what. I'll unmute everybody if you want to do. And then if there's anything that you want to say, you can do. Everybody's quiet. I'm dead worried. You don't have to say anything. Yeah? No, that's all right. Okay. Well, let's carry on then. Not sure if you only have one spiritual teacher or more. That's a good question, is that, Maggie? And yeah, you can have many, is the answer. I guess it depends on the level of the spiritual teacher that you see. So certainly in some of Lama Zopa's books, when he sort of inquired himself of his own teachers, um, his own teachers have encouraged him to see anybody where they think that he thinks that it's changed his mind having the teachings to think of them as being a spiritual teacher. You know, so there's various thoughts in it. I myself personally think of two at the minute, and I'm checking another one out. All right. So checking out a third at the moment, as someone that I think may be my root guru. All right.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, I think the thing to think about with it is, if you, it's a very serious um, relationship that you're going into, so you need to be really, really certain that it's right for you, and that's something we'll talk about as we're going along. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Any other questions at this stage? Right, so I'm interested to know how the guru relationship works in this tradition. Yeah, can I say what a root guru is? And I wish to learn and practice as much as I can to be a benefit to myself and others. Yeah, a spiritual teacher is important for me to help me on the path. Yeah, so all really interesting things. So root guru is one that you feel a real connection to normally, and that they'd be the one that you'd go to for guidance. So that's the best way that I'd explain the root guru within the tradition. And yeah, certainly a lot for us to learn as we go along.
Mm.
Right. And yeah, still looking for teachers, still looking for gurus. It's said that they come along when the time's right. All right, so when you're ready, they'll
Mm.
be there, and they might even be in your life at the moment, but just not quite realised yet. And taking time out of a busy samsara, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is busy as a samsaric life, isn't it? So great that we're all here today. Thank you everybody for sharing. So tonight, what I thought that we'd do is look at this first part. So tonight's all about the need for a spiritual teacher. So I'm going to go through a few points on this, and then we're going to have a little discussion group where I'll turn you into breakout groups to have a chat about it. I think there's eight people in. There's more or less groups of three. All right. So we'll just have a little thought about going through these things to start off with then. So why do we need a spiritual teacher? Well, I think it comes from starting off with thinking about why do we need a teacher full stop? And it's easy to kind of think of like things that you've learned in your life from being a baby right the way through to however old you happen to be at the moment, and think about what you've learned. You know, is there anything that's really been really important or difficult that you've learned where you haven't had a teacher? Usually there's someone who has done whatever it is before, you know, and then teaches us the ropes, isn't there? Is how we tend to find it easy to learn. I know certainly from my side that's always been the case. And I'm just thinking of something just recently that's happened for me over this last year with COVID. Before COVID, I was having some piano practice with Kerry actually. Kerry's a piano teacher, if you didn't know, by the way. And me and my husband were going and we were having weekly lessons, and I felt good. It was coming back to me. Everything I'd learned as a kid, you know, it were like starting to come back, and I felt like I was going somewhere. And then COVID came along, and of course we're not going out into each other's houses anymore, and we just stopped. And with everything else that's been going on, we didn't get round to Zooming it or anything like that. And my motivation for it has just disappeared as into ether. You know, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't sit down at the piano anymore or the keyboard, you know, and certainly feel like I've gone backwards instead. And that's just one little example of how having a teacher keeps us motivated, keeps us going, and we feel like we're progressing. And I'm sure there'll be things from your own life as well where you can think about something where you've really benefited from having a teacher to guide you along the path. Now, thing about it is you need someone who actually knows the stuff, don't you? And that's been there before and it's got some things that they can share with you along the way. You know, it's almost like a roadmap, isn't it? Thinking about where we're going to get to. And it's the same with the Dharma, because it's complicated, isn't it? You know, I've been studying it now for about 6 years on a, you know, proper basis, shall we say that, you know, before that reading books, but about 6 years ago I came to Jamya, and wow, it was much more complicated than what I thought it was from reading the books. You know, a lot of new things to learn, and this is only the beginning. You know, there's so much more to learn. So you really do need someone who can help you to go along that path and not get into difficulties, has been my experience. Now, there's different Buddhist traditions, as we talked about a little bit earlier on the chat. What does it mean in the Mahayana tradition? It's really important in the Mahayana tradition. The Mahayana tradition really, it's a tantric tradition that it's, you know, high, you're aiming to go towards a tantric. And to do that, to actually take a tantric path, Guru devotion is the absolute centre of that practice. But also, it's my teachers have told me, don't know this for myself, but my teachers have told me, and I trust them on that, that it is impossible to get past to a fully enlightened being without having a spiritual guide. You know, it's possible to follow the Hinayana path, where it's not for all sentient beings that you're looking to become fully enlightened and it's just a personal enlightenment. It's said that you can get that far without a spiritual guide, but not to full enlightenment. All right. So yes, it is especially important. But I mean, we all start off and you know, might be meditating or practicing some prayers and so forth, and it can be a gradual thing for many. But for some people, it might be that it's just the teacher and the know instantly. You know, that is someone that they really want to check out. There's something special happening to them when they're with that person. And for other people, it's not like that. There's not a thunderbolt moment, you know, so it's no right and wrong in that. Other things to consider then. Yeah, really so important that your base for the relationship is absolutely rock solid. So you need to be very, very sure before you're committing to a guru or to a spiritual teacher that you feel certain about their qualities and that they have the right qualities for a Mahayana teacher, and that you trust that you're going to be able to follow what their advice is. Now, His Holiness always recommends checking someone out for at least 6 years.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something, isn't it? 6 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you haven't found one yet, don't worry. You know, still checking. And I'm still checking with one of mine. So, does some of you know Ken Rinpoche, Geshe Tashi, Saren? Yeah, some yeses there. All right. So I feel really connected to Geshe Tashi. It's very one-sided. It's on my part. Or what he feels like. Hopefully it's not in his mind. No, hopefully he does know. But you know, I took refuge with him just before he went to India. All right, so a couple of years or so ago. And I have been following him on the teachings that he's been able to do over the internet over this last year in particularly. I took Foundation for Buddhist Thought as the study that I did, sort of a couple of years ago, and I feel a real connection for him. But I'm still checking. I'm still checking at the moment, but it's possible that I think it could be my root guru. All right. But it's not something to dive into.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, don't be frightened to like hold back a little bit and like keep looking and keep seeing what they're doing. I'm looking at Geshe Tashi and looking at all the things that he's been doing during lockdown. There he is with 6,000 monks at Serra May to look after. And within a week or so of lockdown, he'd organised for him to be doing teachings online to us, so the people back in the UK or France. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty special. He's got a lot on his plate at the minute and he's thinking about us, you know? So it's things like that, keep checking out what people are doing, what are you seeing, what's making you feel that they have the right qualities. All right. So, yeah, once you've formally adopted someone as your guru, which basically means that you decide for yourself, I'm going to take this person as a guru, and then you have a teaching from them, which could be over internet or anything like that. Then once you've made that decision, it's really, really important not to abandon that relationship wherever possible. So that's why it's very important that you've done all your checking out and that you're sure that you're going to be able to follow them. All right, and what they're recommending. Okay. So the karmic consequences can be quite severe for you. All right, if you did abandon that relationship or speaking in anger against them, for example, or there's something that you think that you don't agree with that they've done, and you decide that you don't want them as your guru anymore. It's said in the teachings that it's the equivalent of one moment's anger against your guru is the equivalent of an eon of negative karmic consequences, basically. Just one moment of anger. All right. So it could really, have some bad consequences for you on your spiritual path. So don't be in a rush about this. It's something to really think about. All right. So that being said, if you're not ready yet to accept someone as your guru, it's best to stay open-minded about it, and be respectful of the teachers. All right, there's many teachers that have come to Jamyang where I feel a great amount of respect for them, but I'm not thinking of them as a guru. All right, for me personally. All right, but it's still respect for them teaching the Dharma. And as I said, that person, they might not be there yet, might not have just found them yet, or it could be that it's just, where you are on your own path, you're just not seeing them yet, and then they'll be there at the right time. All right. There's something that I heard of that Pema Chodron said, Pema Chodron, which I think is a really nice thing to remember as well. If we've not found a spiritual teacher yet, remember that in the meantime, every moment is our perfect teacher. So I don't know what life's like for you guys, but I find that the people that push my buttons most are the people that I'm really close to. I don't know, is it just me? Yeah, so, they're like, oh, I've got a dog, so Maggie knows I've got a dog. We've got the dog. All
We
right.
got
Um, you know, Molly can really push my buttons. I love her to bits, but my goodness, you know. So you know, every moment's a moment when we can think about, you know, this practice and seeing, you know, what we can learn from the things that happen, what is reactions to the things that come up, you know. So there's always things happening there that are teaching us if we're prepared to reflect and to listen. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to say on this. Oh yeah, I thought this was really useful to think about as well. So when searching for and choosing your spiritual guide, important to remember the 4 reliances that the Buddha has taught us. So this is relying on the message of the teacher, not his personality. So not getting into a guru because the Beatles were into the guru, or there's some charismatic character or something of that nature. Relying on the meaning and not just the words. And then the real meaning and not just the provisional one. And also, very, very important, your own wisdom mind. All right, so not just your ordinary judgmental mind on things. So basically, it's a lot of words, isn't it? But it's saying, you know, be discriminating. Don't just look at things at face value. You know, look deeper into them when you're thinking about, you know, taking on a spiritual teacher, a guru. Also, I thought this quote was quite nice, which I've put it in there. It's through making a connection with the wisdom truth of the teachings that you eventually discover your living connection with a spiritual mentor. You know, so coming along, coming to the teachings, doing your own practice, whatever that is, finding out what that underlying truth is, and does it connect with you? Is there something in there that makes you feel, yeah, this is right for me, and that this spiritual path, this could be truth for me also. Right, I think that's what's important. I know I've had a spiritual path for a lot of years before coming to Jamya. But it's been a bit all over the place, I have to say. I've been searching. I've searched around for years and years and years, right from being about a 9-year-old when my mum and dad wanted me to come have me, not baptism, next one along, confirmation, Church of England confirmation, you know, into the path. And I knew at that stage that it wasn't right for me, and I said no. But you know what? It took me probably another 40 years to work out what did feel right for me. You know, so not always a thunderbolt moment, as I say. Can take a bit of time and practice and searching. Yeah. Think about, does it connect with you, I guess. So final little words of wisdom here from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche is the head of FPMT. If you've not come across him before, I'm not sure whether you have or you haven't. But here's a quote out of his book, which is one of the ones that I'll recommend for you. So it's often said that Guru devotion's like the root of a tree. So he's just explaining it in a bit more detail here. So enlightenment is like a ripe fruit. The path to enlightenment is like the trunk of a tree, and Guru devotion's like the root of a tree. So from the root of Guru devotion, the trunk of the path grows in our minds, bears the fruit of enlightenment. And whether or not we can start to develop the path to enlightenment in our mind in this life is determined by our practice of Guru devotion. Okay. So Lama is up there very strongly saying, yes, this is something we need to do in order to develop the path. So I'm going to break us up into some little groups so you can have a think about it, and then we'll have, what time we're on? 7:08. Yeah, all right. So we'll have 10 minutes on it and then come back in to have a small group discussion. When you come back into your group and we're having a bit of a chat about it, once we come back to the main group, I think what works best is if you say what you noticed for yourself or what it's bringing up for you, what your thoughts are about what you've been discussing and so on. So leave aside what other people have said. Yeah. And no sort of like, well, Stuart said this or Hazel said that, which I've been prone to do in the past. I think it can lead to a bit of anxiety about worrying about having to share on behalf of all of the group. Just say
Yeah.
what it's done for you. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
And you don't have to talk if you don't want to when we come back to the main group either. So don't feel that you have to do. All right. So here's the questions that I want you to think about. You don't have to answer all of them. So I'll give you just a moment in order to have a look at those and think about what they are. So from your own experience as having a teacher in any field, has it helped you to get further than you would have done if you'd have been trying to learn by yourself? So not necessarily anything to do with Buddhism, just anything. So how do you feel about that idea of having a spiritual guide, a guru? What does it bring up for you? And also, what thoughts does the concept of a relationship with a spiritual guide or guru, does that currently have from you? And is it different to how you felt about it before as well? All right, it might have changed for you over time, might that one? All right. So if you just bear with me, guys, while I put you into groups, it's the very first time I've done breakout groups. So anything could happen, you could get lost forever. I shall aim to put you in groups of 2 or 3. All right, 3 for most people. Okay, so let's have a look and see if I can do this. All right, there we go. I left myself in a room, didn't I? Did I? There we go. So we're all back, aren't we? Right, okay then. So, anybody want to say what's kind of come to mind after having that talk and thinking about it? What's coming up for you?
Can I say something just quickly
You can.
about our group? I really enjoyed it because it was just about human relationship between person to person, and the experience people have had with their teachers has been very good because it hasn't been about learning all these facts and points. It's been about the actual relationship, you know. So for me, that's actually it's given me courage to actually, you know, because my opinion of Buddhism has been that it's just all of this mathematical facts of, you know, sutras that are been shoved down your throat and all these things you can do's and you don'ts and all this. I've had enough of that. Like, so for my idea of having a guru sitting there telling me all of this I can't take any more of that. Like, so our group was really nice because it was just about relationship, and we were speaking about how the guru relationship is just an ordinary relationship with somebody, you know. And to my mind, it's nothing special. It'd be nothing more special than a relationship with anybody else, you know. That's me. I wouldn't put a guru up on a pedestal, you know. But I really liked our group just for the human relationship with people, you know. It's nice. It's not all of this theory and everything.
I think that's really important, Colin, is that it is about the relationship. I guess what's different with it is it's a long-standing relationship. So you're going into it not just if you believe in sort of going on through future lives. It's not just this life, but in future lives as well, you know. So it is quite a big commitment, but at the same time, it's that connection. You feel a connection and a relationship.
But I don't want to enslave myself for the rest of my days and all the rest of my life, saying I have to commit to some person that I've spent 6 years deciding on, who could turn out to be a complete maniac after 6 years anyway. And I block my ears to everybody else in the whole world because I'll only listen to this person. You know, it sounds a bit foolish to me personally.
That's
you know, I prefer if everybody. I mean, why not learn from everybody? Like, why not learn from the dogs and cats on the street as well as the guru? Like, you know, what difference does it make? You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do learn from everybody all of the time, don't we? That's an important thing to say. And you don't know who's a Buddha or a Bodhisattva either, you know. So, you know, it could be someone that's in your life already, could already be that. The important thing to say is that that relationship is a little bit different from other relationships that we do have. So if you don't feel that you want to commit to someone, don't, you know, but there's only so far that you'll go on the path. Mind you,
Well,
go a long way.
mine is a downhill path all the way to hell. That's my path.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Following my gurus there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, any other thoughts then? Any other thoughts on that have come bubbling up for you as you've been talking about it? What things did you find interesting?
I think the concept of choice is really important because I've found myself in situations in the past with someone who's been given as the teacher, and you know, when there's been issues, and not just like my own delusional thinking about the person, but it just makes it really complicated. Your learning is hampered because a lot of the time you're just trying to work out what's going on. How are you going to kind of process that? So actually, when you find someone who is that kind of fit for you, I think that will free up your capacity to really kind of take the wisdom and the learning rather than just constantly working through the other stuff.
Yeah, which is a bit like what Con was saying as well, isn't there? I mean, let's face it, there's a lot to learn, isn't there? And there's a lot of stuff that, like, you know, it's kind of almost given to you. You do this to get to this, to get to this, to get to that, isn't it? There's on the Lam Rim, there's a whole list of things that we do to get there, you know. But it's a personal journey as well, you know, and it's when you feel right for doing the different things. Um, but it's important, I guess, from my own experience, when I've not had a spiritual guide and someone that I look to for that guidance, um, I'd say I've come stuck sometimes, you know, either through just not getting anywhere at all, whether that's just with meditation and trying to make it happen on a morning or whatever, you know, getting a regular practice on things. Sometimes it just like slows down when you're on your own and you don't get anywhere. Or otherwise, doing things before I should have done, before I were ready, if you know what I mean, and not having the guidance to then know what to do once I've kind of gone into something and then thought, whoa, I've no idea what's happening here, you know. So from that point of view, I think for me personally, having someone who's a guide, a spiritual teacher, has been helpful. Yeah, and it's not a case of every teacher that you come across that you have to think of them as being your spiritual teacher, you know, but always with respect for what they bring. Yeah. Any other thoughts coming up?
So I don't. Oh, Stuart.
Yeah.
No, Dita, you go first.
So I haven't got any. I'm looking. I'm fairly definitely new to it, but my thinking is the difference between deciding inside myself about the teacher and on another hand having like a formal acceptance, I suppose, to be a disciple. Disciple. And then having the, like now, obviously there are lots of teachers on the internet, you can listen and read the books, but it's different when you see someone in real life in the same room and listen to the teachings. So again, that side of how does it work? How do people?
How do you find one? Well, check people out, definitely. I mean, get in front of different teachers, you know, in whatever way that is. I mean, on the internet now, yes, we can see lots of teachers there, can't we? You know, his Holiness is regularly giving teachings online. You can access via his YouTube and everything else that goes with that. Lama Zopa Rinpoche daily gives teachings from Kopan, you know. So there's lots of really great teachers out there that we can listen to. And I guess it's nice to think that you'll have someone who that you can sit down with face to face. But it's not always going to be the case, and it'll not always be necessary either, you know. So it can be a long distance relationship, you know, it can be, and it can come from your side, you know, so it can come from your side. So it's just you making that choice, like Andrew said earlier, that this is how you want to see that person now. Yeah, so it comes from your side, but you need to make sure that they've got the right qualities. So that's the checking out. So as we go through the 6 weeks, we'll start to look at some of those qualities so that you can know what you're looking out for. Yeah. And that's where the checking up comes then, you know, checking out, do they do this? And you're reflecting on it and meditating on it about, you know, once you've got someone in mind, well, you know, okay, so we're looking at 10 qualities here. Where do I see them do that? Do I really know that they do that? You know, and so forth. Yeah.
But should you not be more concerned about your own actions and what you're doing yourself and everything rather than your guru? Well, worrying about what they're doing. Who cares what the guru's doing? You know, let them do whatever they want.
Yeah. So there is yours as well. So there's qualities that you need to think about. Are you ready as a student as well? So it's not just one way.
I
Yeah.
know it's a relationship. That's the whole point. Yeah. But like a relationship isn't just sitting there spying on the guru, like wondering what are they doing and if they're, if they're thinking about me and if they're sitting there picking their nose or what are they doing? Like. I mean, get on with what I have to do myself. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're quite right, because you have to think about you and are you ready and are you in the right state of mind as well? So we look at qualities as a student as well, and it's a big, big commitment, So you need to really think, am I in the right space to be taking on that commitment right now? Is it right for me? Yeah. So it works both ways, Yeah. Anything else? Anything else coming up? Yes, John.
Yeah.
Stuart.
So for me,
Right.
I mean, I'd be asking the question, what is the teacher? What do I want the teacher to teach me?
Yes.
And having decided I want to be a Buddhist, I want the teacher to teach me Buddhism. So for me, I want the teacher to take me in a Buddhist direction, because that's what I've decided is the right way to go.
Yes.
And so I'd be looking for a teacher that sort of teaches the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and teaches authentic Buddhism. That's what I look for in a guru.
Yeah. So it's like what we were saying earlier about you want someone who's further down the path than you and that knows that path that you're wanting to go down, and that you can see that they do follow it. Yeah. So really important that you've got that and that you're clear about what it is that you're wanting going forward. Yeah. So let's do a meditation on that then and think about some of these things. So it's an analytical meditation where we're considering some of these things that we want from as guru. So if you want to turn your screens off, you're welcome. If you want to leave them on, you're welcome. I'm still filming at the minute so that you've got that recording to go back to if you want to do a later stage. So just take some time to get yourself comfortable again and grounded. Take time to settle your body. Make sure that you're stable, connected. Your spine is upright. It's quite nice to just ever so slightly drop your head a little bit forward as well. Eyes are either closed or partially closed, so you've got a nice soft gaze. We'll just start off with meditating on the breath, being aware of the breath for a few minutes. Noticing the rise and fall of the body, the breaths coming in and out. Each time we breathing in with awareness. And every time we breathe out, just relaxing the body a little bit more. And create an altruistic motivation. You're taking time now to meditate and accumulate merit, considering being able to find a spiritual guide in order to reach that state of enlightenment and be of most benefit for all sentient beings. To contemplate the reasons why we need a spiritual guide. And reflect on real life examples in your own life. So think about how we need a teacher to learn almost everything in life. From that moment we're born to when we die. And become convinced that teachers are extremely important to us in order to learn new things in life. Think about significant teachers that you've had in your own life, the kindness that they've shown you, benefits that you've gained from their good qualities. Generate a strong sense of appreciation, gratitude for the kindness that they've shown you. And think about the great importance of having a spiritual teacher to teach us what to practice, what to avoid, lead us on the Dharma path, out of samsara, to bring us to full enlightenment. So we're entering into territory we've never been before. We definitely need a guide along the way. We need to rely on a guide with experience who's gone before us along that Dharma path, who knows more than we do. So become strongly convinced on the importance of a spiritual teacher, a highly qualified, admirable spiritual teacher in your Dharma life. Think about the great importance of having a spiritual teacher. And contemplate the kindness that they have, what it is in a spiritual teacher that you desire to find. So thinking particularly about the qualities that you'd like them to have. So we'll cover them more in further detail next week, these qualities, but kind of things that are in here are, do we know them to have good ethics as much as what we can tell. If they practice the high trainings in concentration, can we see that they're able to maintain the concentration, that they don't get distracted? Think about, can we see that they've got qualities of great knowledge and wisdom? So just some of the qualities that we look for. What else is there that you'd want in your own spiritual teacher? And generate in your heart and mind an enthusiastic aspiration to find a qualified spiritual guide through opening your heart, through scrutiny, through checking, through being clear yourself that you're ready as well, that you've checked your own mind. And feel that confidence and joy of finding such a precious spiritual friend that will accompany us and guide us on our spiritual path. So once you can generate a strong feeling of joy and confidence, if you feel that you've got that, just stay with that and keep your concentration there. And dedicating this meditation because of our merits, may I and all sentient beings find a perfectly qualified spiritual guide, and in all our future lives may we never be separated from our spiritual guide, nor from the pure Dharma teachings. May all our precious teachers have long, healthy lives, and may all their compassionate projects for sentient beings succeed perfectly without any obstacles. And just coming back into awareness in your own body again, your surroundings. Just reflect for a minute on the thoughts that were coming up for you. There's no right, no wrong. It's just how it was for you today. Okay, so thinking of sort of going forward then, what I've done is I've made a little pamphlet for you, leaflet thing, with things from this week one that we've been talking about. It's got in there the meditation, so that if you want to follow that during the week, great to do that, especially if you're thinking that you want to make it a certificate course, it's part of the course. I've put some books for you to have a look at in there as well. So there's the details of the course books, of which there's two that are like essential reading. There's another one, the one that I personally think is essential reading, is by Lama. So there's details of that one as well. And in the guide, I've put kind of what to think about for this week, if you know what I mean. So if you can get hold of The Heart of the Path, which is by Lama Zopa, there's a couple of chapters in there, the first two, why do we need a guru, and the power of the guru. So I suggest making a start on that this week, and then we can go into some of the other things as we go along. And have a go with the meditation as well, you know, give that a try. I know analytical meditations, I can find them quite hard sometimes. I'll have to admit, I find it a lot easier just focusing on the breath. I've been doing it for many years. I've been breathing for a lot of years, and it comes more natural to me, does that. So just if you want to listen to the recording, it'll be on the YouTube channel as it has been on previous modules. I'll ask Kerry if he'll put it on there, so you can listen to it if you like. And I've actually put all of the wording in your guide, so that if you want to just sit and reflect a little bit, and then sit and read a bit more and reflect a little bit more, you can do that as well. I mean, analytical meditation at its heart, it's just reflecting. You know, it's thinking about it and thinking about how does it show up for you, and coming to a conclusion. Once you've got the conclusion, once you've kind of feel you've got it, and you've decided something for yourself, not because someone else has told you, all right, it's got some meaning for you, then it's staying on that moment, just trying to hold that moment where you feel certain. And that's all that analytical meditation is at the end of the day. It's reflection, coming to a conclusion, and then just trying to hold on to that little bit of whatever it was that you decided for yourself. All right, so I've put those guides in the chat box. So if you want to go on there and have a look, they should be there. If you want to just copy them now, that's fine. So there's the handout for this week, and also there's some spiritual teachings from Lama Zopa Rinpoche in there. I'll ask you to read them other weeks, but I've given you them for now. All right, and then you know what they are. All right, so see if you can manage to download those. If you can, and you doesn't kind of work for you, does that? If you want to send me your email address, I'll put mine in here. Just send me an email, and we'll reply with it.
Are they in the chat box at the moment? Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
So
I can't see the document.
box.
I can see your email.
I can see the email, yeah, but not anything else.
I can't see the document.
No.
Okay. Right, so they were just above where I've put my email address, so you can't see them there, no?
No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Right, so it says they're all right from this side. So what I'll do then is, if you want to send, if you copy my email address down,
Yeah.
then send me an email, I'll just send them all out to you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So it's Chrissy, .martindale@hotmail.co.uk. If you forget, or you lose my email or what have you, if you just email Jamyan and just say, you know, on the normal Jamyan email, and Maria Deal will let me know. All right. So that's it, guys. That's the end of this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's certainly lots to start to think about, isn't there? And as we go along, we'll go into more detail about what some of these qualities are, and what the benefits of having a spiritual guru are, and the disadvantages of, like I say, not following them once you actually come to decide. All right. Okay, so thanks everybody. And
Well done on your first one.
Yeah, great, Christy.
okay,
Brilliant.
good. All right.
Well done.
Before we go, I forgot to dedicate, haven't we? Let's do some dedications. All right. So won't be a minute. Apologies. I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? Right, won't be a minute. Share screen. Here we go again. Okay, so closing prayers then. So due to this merit, may I quickly attain the enlightened state of a Guru Buddha, that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious body mind, not yet born, rise and grow. May that born of no decline, but increase forevermore. And long life prayer for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the supreme source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzing Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And a short long life prayer for Lama's Zopa Rinpoche. You who uphold the Subdaya's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, spreading Manjuna's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers, honouring the three Joes, Saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. Okay, everybody. So thank you very much for your time tonight, for all being here. All right.
Thank you.
Hope it's been all right. Lots of challenges in there. So
Well done, Chrissy.
things to think about. You know, that's good. All right. Okay, and I'll see you all next week. All
Thank
right.
you.
See you next week,
Bye.
everybody.
Everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.